Halloween. It's one of my favorite movies. The song's super iconic. Without the song, the movie's not the same, and that's what really got my attention. I started paying more attention to the music, like The Shining, Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one. Even Psycho, the string arrangement. You can't go wrong with obviously John Carpenter, Alan Howarth, the band Goblin. I know a lot of the Italian horror films, stuff like that. That's to name a few. Hi, my name is Alexis. I'm a musician and I collect horror memorabilia. So I play in several bands. Like a lot of them are tributes to like the Smiths, the Doors, the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, as well as write my own music. As far as with horror, you know what? My earliest memory I think was like as a kid. My parents would just take me to like the theaters. Back then my uncle used to have a CD. It was a horror soundtrack. And it was cool. I remember we used to play it all the time, and I thought it was interesting. I was probably like in the 4th, 5th grade. Pretty much any movie from like 2000 to like 2012, that was a horror movie, I probably saw it in the theater. And I remember just watching it at first. I'm like, at first it was kind of scary, but at the same time, the story is what I really liked about it. And it just kept growing and growing. I remember back then my dad used to buy me those Fangoria magazines. And I remember my friends at school would be like, what's up with those magazines? I would bring them to school when I'm not supposed to. And I don't know, man, I just like the behind the scenes of it. That's all we watched, All we watched from all types of horror movies, like from the 80s, 70s, everything. As far as being a musician, that's always was part of my dad's side of the family. It was always around. It's funny, I started off because I guess, according to my dad, he saw me playing the piano. I was just doing this, and I guess a light bulb struck in his head and said I could do it. And I started around 6 years old, and from there on, kind of as a little hobby, but later on I started learning the music I wanted to play, and that's what really gave me the idea. I'm like, you know what, maybe I think I could do this, And I'm still currently doing it and teaching it as well. Obviously, I'm a collector. I've been collecting now for probably about 8-9 years, and I've had a pleasure to own special things that I want to share with you guys. These are my top 5 favorite horror pieces that I currently own. Number 5 being the Suspiria clock. That one I got it at the CreepyCon. It's made by a company called Mood Poison. They had several others, and that was one that got my attention. Especially, that's an iconic scene in the movie. My number 4 would probably be the Evolution of Evil figures. That was probably I think that was the first one that I started really taking seriously when I started collecting. I started taking that one more seriously because that one was a hard one to find. Luckily I got it signed by all 3 actors. My number 3 would probably have to be the Phantasm Sphere. I think it was made by a company called Nightmares Unlimited. My girlfriend surprised me. It was our anniversary. She bought it for me. Even with that piece, I've cut myself a couple of times on accident because how sharp the blades are. It has the drill in it too. And yeah, it's one of my favorite pieces that we got from Texas Frightmare. At the same time, we flew there, so it's oh geez, how do we get a weapon back home, because there's no way I'm not gonna take it back home. So we had to wrap it up in a towel, figure out alternative ways to kind of fit in our luggage, but luckily it's right there. You can see it now. We made it here safe. My number 2, this one's definitely one I've been wanting for the longest, and it's my replica of the first Myers mask. And and I actually got it signed by Nick Castle himself and Tommy Lee Wallace, the guy who created the mask. That one, that was another mission to get that signed. I can proudly say I got it signed at the Myers house in October, and that was a fun, long waiting time. My number one, honestly, it's my easy choice for me, is the Creepshow bust right behind me, made by my buddy Monster Man 37. That was like the first big piece I got, and it's one of my favorite movies. I think good memories with that one, and I remember having the DVD cover of it. So when I went to, I think it was Days of the Dead, when I first saw it, Days of the Dead in I think Las Vegas. Yeah, Days of the Dead Las Vegas. I knew I had to have it, and I talked to him. Real nice guy, talented artist, and we got it, and here it is. Well, thanks guys for joining me. You guys can find me here, Instagram, Alexis Angel _, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, all that good stuff. I'm glad you got to see a little bit of my collection, and thank you.